So, guys, it's David here, and it's currently day 345, and I do hope you guys are doing better than yesterday. Currently 6:30 p.m. though, so I do really want to talk about what is it that we can tell that we have lost, we have given up on our journey of growth, that we have in fact failed, and we are unwilling to accept this defeat, perhaps because it is too much of a direct strike at our pride or dignity, whatever we have left. And sometimes we rather delude ourselves saying that to fail or to distract or to go through this period or phase is part of the process of growth. But that is being delusional. Why? Because we do fail in the journey of growth. We do fail in the journey of excellence. It is inevitable. But when you are distracted, you are by definition not in the journey of improvement. To improve on whatever skills you are trying to get better at, you have to be present. You have to be present and use all your energy in the moments so that you can create and break free from your original bad habits. Now, when you are distracted, whether it's watching Netflix, going out clubbing, or watching porn, whatever you are doing to distract yourself, you are getting yourself and pulling yourself away from your present. You're avoiding your reality. You're avoiding your truth. So you are stalling yourself from this journey of greatness. So when you are distracted, you are not progressing. So if you are distracted right now, then you have given up on your journey of growth. I used to think otherwise. I used to think that to be distracted, it is part of the journey. No, it's not. It is not a part of the journey because I have stopped my journey when I choose to become distracted. But the danger thing is that we sometimes don't understand what it means to give up and that we treat a distraction as a part of an improvement phase. And that is being delusional. We don't want to accept defeat. So, what are the signs when you know you have been distracted, when you know you have given up on life? Should really be an easy question to answer, but we don't really want to admit this. So, one clear sign is when you have allowed your body to control your mind and let your body turn all your thoughts into actions and be guided by your body's urges, meaning you are guided by how you feel, you are guided by emotions, you are guided by instant gratification, anything that you have been guided by through your sensations from your body is a clear sign that you are distracted. Because our mind should be the center of control over all things we do because we think with our mind. Now, if we let our body take control of ourselves, then we let our urges, we let our primal desires take hold of us. And if you realize yourself acting without thinking, acting without making right decisions, then it is clear that you are in fact giving up on your dreams, that you are distracted and you're not growing. And this is not an excuse to say, this is part of the process of growth and I'm just going through a phase. You are going through a phase. In fact, you are. You are going through a phase of complacency. You are going through a phase of wasting your time, just like I have. And it is not a phase necessary for growth. What is necessary is facing failures that is relevant to the things you are trying to improve at. If you are improving on a skill and you face failures because you're trying to improve that skill, then that is a failure you will overcome eventually. That is part of the process of learning. But choosing to avoid your present state, choosing to avoid responsibilities, that is not a part of the journey. That is you just not owning up to your personal responsibilities, your goals, your promises, everything that you said to yourself that I am going to do to change my life and prove all my doubt is wrong. And the fact that if you are distracted still doing the things that you know you're not supposed to, then you are in fact proving your doubt is right, that you are not going to succeed, that you are a nobody. And that isn't a great feeling. So don't delude yourself from thinking that being distracted is part of the journey and you got to go through this eventually because you choose to be distracted. And when you choose to be distracted and you don't admit that that is you giving up on life, then you are not going to pick yourself back up because you are going to tolerate your own bullcrap. You're going to tolerate that every once in a while I'm going to go on a 1 2 week bender where I just chill back and do whatever I want because that's life, right? No. No, that is a sure way to break momentum. That is a sure way to lose your consistency. Because many times have I been fooled with the same BS, thinking that if I had stayed consistent for 3 months, then it is 1 week for me to just do whatever I want, do less work. And yes, sometimes that is nice. We train. If you train hard for 3 months, then it's great to have a week of deload where you just relax and let your muscles heal. But we also all know that we don't need to take a week off until we physically have drained our muscles. And if you have just gotten into lifting weights, then that is going to be a long time until that happens. But my point I'm trying to make is that we all think that we need a break before the break is long due. And sometimes we don't even know how to manage our breaks because we haven't let go of our past identities. Meaning when we have the break, when we think we are due to have a week of pleasure, we go back into our old behaviors, we go back into how we used to think how to relax, and therefore we are still holding on to a worse part of ourselves, an old part of us that we are trying to kill. And we cannot move forward with our life if we still have these old habits, these old behaviors, a pack of our identity. We cannot hold on to this part of us and hope to be somebody different. We have to kill our old self to be somebody new. We have to diminish our old identity to be someone new. So, not accepting your own failure when you are distracted is one sure way to tolerate distraction. Not understanding when you have messed up in your life and when you are stalling for your own success is one way to never really exceed and think outside of the box. To hold on to your own lifestyle and wish for something new is one way to stay in the middle of mediocrity and torture yourself because you have this high ambition and yet you're still living like how you used to do. And that isn't going to get you anywhere. Like now, I am still holding onto my old self. For some reason, I just am the master at self sabotage sometimes. When I mess up for a day, when I mess up for 2 days, I just feel like, you know what, that's it. That's it for me. What's the point of going back? But you see, when you start thinking like that, when you start thinking so negatively because you had a bad day or two, then you really start to mess up your whole week. And when that happens, you start to look down upon yourself. You start to make promises that you cannot keep because you have low self esteem. And when that repeats in a vicious cycle, you are going to atrophy all of the goodwill you have done to yourself. And the main part of this reason that I first of all constantly repeat is because I think that I have not given up. That I think that my setbacks, whatever the distractions I choose to divulge in, is because it is part of the process. That when I do go off for a day and do shithole with my life, I think that, you know what, this is a part of the journey that's going to grow my character. Well, it's not. That's when I failed. That's when I given up. And that's when I had accepted my reality that I am not going to be great. So instead of deluding myself every single time saying that this is the process, that this is going to build character, that one day I'll get over this shit because this is still growth, it is not. And we have to accept this to understand that we cannot tolerate this. That if we say we are going to do something, then being distracted with whatever it is means that we have given up on our dreams. And that is going to clear your mind of the ambiguity and uncertainty of what it means to stay focused and consistent at one priority at a time. Because we have this misunderstanding thinking that it is okay to dabble into these distracting behaviors and yet still hope to become great. We cannot do two things at the same time. Why? Because we cannot suck at life and wish to be great at life at the same time. We have to pick one. We cannot stay in the middle either. Either we choose to become better or we choose to stay as ourselves and get worse and corrode over time as anyone else around us starts to elevate in their life. So if you are ambitious, if lately you have feel like you have become complacent, then you are not growing. You have given up on your dreams. You have to accept that. And accepting that means you may lose some pride. You may feel stubborn and say, "Oh, I haven't given up. This is me. I'm building character." You have to let your ego go sometimes. And by accepting defeat, by saying giving up, you're not essentially saying that I call quits. Because distracting yourself from your priorities is calling quits already. And by deluding yourself, you're only mixing up your intentions in your mind. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest for you to find the problem as to why you choose to give up in the first place. And when you do that, you won't delay yourself from finding a solution to the root problem. Because the problem isn't that you lack consistency. Because if you can stay consistent, staying complacent, then you can stay consistent doing something better with your life. So sometimes we have to understand that the problem lies far beyond what the symptom of the problem is. Sometimes the problem lies deep down within us, but we have to be honest to find that problem through self-reflection. So own up to yourself. If you have been distracted, own up and say, I have given up, so that you can spend some time and let your ego just go. And think to yourself, why is it that I have done what I have done today? Why is it that I'm afraid? Why is it that I choose to give up? Why is it that I always self sabotage when life is going good? Why is it as if I am afraid of my own goddamn success? And when you start to ask yourself those questions, I just hope that you'll find a solution to your problem. Because only by doing so, after getting rid of your delusion, can you have a chance to fight back of your primal desires. Can you then have a chance to stay present and figure out exactly what the heck is going on with yourself? But that being said, guys, I hope you guys had learned something from this. And I do hope that you guys will take some time and just really look back into your life. 10 minutes, 15 minutes is really all you need to understand yourself more. And I should take my advice more seriously. So, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good night.